Do you really understand what a lobbyist does? We hear the term all the time, but what does a lobbyist do? And what's it like to be a woman lobbyist in a male-dominated field? We are here today with Megan. What a cool name. She is a lobbyist. She has a fascinating story. And here at Michigan Speaker of the House Joe Tate's amazing golf outing at Plum Hollow Country Club in Southfield, Michigan, she's joining me, Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, to talk about what she does as a lobbyist and why she's here to help collaborate for the greater good of all. So Megan, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. So first, tell us about your work. What do you do?
I feel like it's really hard to encapsulate what I do because day to day it changes. But overall, my responsibility is representing large hospitals, health systems across Michigan. I represent 22 hospitals all across the state and their needs in front of the legislature. So a lot of elected officials do not have a healthcare background, so it's a little bit of my job to help them understand the needs of health systems, healthcare practitioners, so your doctors, your nurses, what do they need to better deliver healthcare, and what kind of laws and policies do we need to change to make that more effective for both the system as well as bettering the health of Michiganders across the state.
I love the way you just summarized that. So take us to a moment in a day. Would you have like a meeting with a PowerPoint and statistics, or how do you get these points across to the right people?
Great question. I guess it changes. I have plenty of PowerPoints that I will more so take. My PowerPoints are to teach people who are not familiar with the political process and want to be engaged in it how best to do that, because I think that a lot of people are interested in politics but don't know how to execute that interest in front of lawmakers. So teaching just the basic political system, committees, all of that jazz. But on top of that, yes, a meeting with an elected official is usually on my books. But a lot of my work is being more discussionary. I want to be a person who comes to the table and educates and has a conversation. So how do you want to understand a way that a bill will impact people, or a doctor or a nurse or a pharmacist, anything like that? My job is to come into and meet with an elected official and say, let's walk through your piece of legislation and what it looks like in real life.
Wow, fascinating. It reminds me of those Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
I'm just a bill.
Yeah, I always use that. I always say, Schoolhouse Rock is not really how the government works, but if only it did, if only it was that simple. But yeah, people like me, we're important because we bring, we're, I guess, educators in a lot of ways. I think that lobbying gets a bad rap for that reason, but I represent a nonprofit system. My job is to say, you don't have a background in healthcare, let me offer you some education in that.
So how did you get into this?
So I have a weird path, but I started interning at the state capitol when I was in college as a junior and a senior in college. Then I went and I moved across the world, I suppose. I did grad school in the Netherlands, which is the human rights capital of the world. And I worked for a human rights organization that was representing former child soldiers who were women, who had different experiences than men.
Wait.
Yeah.
Former child soldiers who are women.
Yes.
Okay, did they grow up as soldiers?
In my conflicts that I worked in were primarily in Central Africa, and the way that child soldiers are kind of come about is a militant force would come into villages, kidnap all the children, and then have them, unfortunately, come back and kill their parents. That was a way to get them to comply. The focus of my work was in reconciliation programs, because a lot of governments would dole out farmland or anything like that without taking into account that unmarried women could not own property. And coming back as a female child soldier, a lot of times sexual violence was enacted upon you. You were utilized as a wife instead of a fighter, and you'd come back with children, and then therefore you were unable to be married. You were unfit for marriage, so then you couldn't access your post-conflict reconciliation programs. So a lot of my work was in northern Uganda, ensuring that unmarried women could own property and then utilize some of the governmental programs.
That is phenomenal, okay?
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I mean, how fulfilling was it to actually see a woman who was caught in that unfairness and then own land?
It was incredible. I mean, it was just being able to assist women who never thought that they would ever have a helping hand, who only know violence and difficulty in life. And it's just showed me the importance. It was a very pivotal moment in my career of the importance of just listening to what people need and meeting them where they're at, and utilizing advocacy skills, which I still use today, to kind of change the way and challenge the status quo. So. Yeah.
That is so powerful. Okay, so then how did you land in the Michigan legislature after that?
Yeah, after a few years working, I came back during the 2016 election. I saw kind of the politics that were brewing and really feeling a pull to come back to my roots. I had, as I said, interned when I was in college, and one of the people that I worked for was now a state representative. So he represented the Flint area. So I came back, started working for his office in 2016, right at the cusp of the Flint water crisis. So, it's kind of cool because I got to really go in from one crisis to another, but in, different demographics, and it just shows that there's so much in the world that needs change and attention, and people like me who care. And I would say a lot of us care, but yeah. So I worked for him for a few years. He term limited out at the legislature, and I jumped on to another state representative. I worked for 3, and then I ended up working for a hospital system and got into the healthcare space.
Oh, wonderful! And now you're at this gorgeous golf outing for Michigan Speaker of the House, Joe Tate. Are you having fun?
Having a great time. How could you complain? This is a great way to spend a Monday. Yeah.
But you know what? The power of collaboration happens right here.
Yep.
Because everyone's having fun. It's a gorgeous day. It's relaxed.
Yeah.
But that's where relationships are built.
100%. And we were talking earlier, being one of the only all women foursome here, how important it is for even women to be involved in these kind of events, because a lot of times these opportunities are extended to men because they start golfing when they're younger and all this stuff. And I'm not a good golfer, but I'm here. I'm showing up because relationships are made here, decisions are made here, and I couldn't be happier that I'm here today.
Oh, Megan, I'm so delighted to meet you.
You as well.
Yes, thank you for helping to clarify what lobbyists do. And your backstory is even more interesting about how you've helped women on an international scale.
Yeah.
So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's next for you?
That's a great question, and I don't know the answer. I feel like life always throws you curveballs, and you gotta roll with the punches. So what's next is whatever's around the corner, and I don't know yet.
Oh, that's more exciting than knowing, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Megan Blue, thank you for joining me here at the golf outing. I'm Elizabeth Atkins, 2 Sisters Writing and Publishing. Love your story.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Thanks so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. I wish you the best.
You as well. Keep doing what you're doing. Telling stories is important.
Thank you.